Hello, everyone. Welcome back to The Last Lap. In today's episode, we're going to be breaking down everything that is going to go on at Kansas Motor Speedway this weekend, and we're also going to talk about some news that came out this week. But before we hop into it, just want to remind you guys to hit that subscribe button and that like button. It really does go a long way. It really supports the channel, and you can check us out on Instagram at The Last Lap News. And as always, I have my friend and co-host Matthew on the show, and this is the second race of the round of 8, so Matthew, how you feeling about the middle of the playoffs? This is where things really start to get intense.
Well, it is getting intense now as, we all know Larson's going to be advancing. Even if he didn't win or not, he was going to advance anyways. And some drivers that I thought who was going to be in the championship for or possibly could get eliminated, like Martin Truex Jr. So, we'll see how this race plays out. It's the last mile and a half of the year, which I'm happy about because I can't stand this racing package. But yeah, let's get right on to it.
The same package that'll be back next year. So unfortunately,
Well, it's the next gen car. It's gonna be a lot of question marks, in my opinion.
Yeah, hopefully the next gen car makes the package just another racing just a little bit better with this package, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's the last mile and a half of the season. We got two 750 horsepower tracks to conclude the season, which is going to be great racing for the fans. But hopping into some news very quickly, the only thing that has really come out this week as far as news is concerned is Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series announced that Brandon Jones will be returning to their program next season. That's the first official announcement for who they'll have in a car next year, because Daniel Hemrick is going to be at Colleague Racing, and then Harrison Burton is moving to the Cup Series to drive for Wood Brothers in the number 21. So that's only the first announcement that they've made as far as who's going to be driving for them full-time next season. Currently they have 3 full-time cars, and then they have the 54 car, which is technically full-time, but they're going for the Owners' Championship with several different drivers, but 3 full-time regular drivers. So as of now, Brandon Jones is the only official one announced for next season. So I've heard some speculations that they might only run 3 total cars next year. They could run 4, but I honestly don't know if they could. If John Hunter Nemechek is returning to KBM, I don't really know who else they would fill for the other 2 spots. But for me, I think the other person that Ty Gibbs is probably going to get another one of those rides. And then if they do another full-time car, I'm not sure what to expect. But Matthew, what do you have to say about Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series? And do you think they'll have 3 or 4 cars next season? And who are some candidates you think might be in those cars?
Well, as far as the Brandon Jones re-signing goes, am I surprised about that? Absolutely not. I believe he was going to be back in that ride regardless because of the sponsors and that sponsor help that he has. Do I think it's the right move? Definitely not. Let's just be honest here. Brandon Jones is another one of those paid drivers, the controversial subject that everyone either doesn't mind or absolutely despises as paid drivers, and Brandon Jones is one of them. Like last year was really the only year that I really thought Brandon Jones was a championship contender or race-winning threat almost every weekend, because he had a breakout year last year with 4 wins, and I actually thought this year he was going to excel even more. You know, he finally found something. I thought he was going to be able to win more races this season, and apparently he's back to his old Brandon Jones self, being really inconsistent and not really, or basically it's just there, basically not really doing much. So I don't know why he's back, to be honest. I don't think JGR needs him, but you know, sponsors pay everything, and that's how it works with these paid drivers. I mean, there's not all paid drivers are bad. Like for example, Austin Cindric. His family has ties with Penske, and he's an Xfinity Series champion. He's going to the Cup Series next year. So, and he's had a lot of success in the Xfinity Series. So, he's actually a really great driver who is a paid driver. So they're not all bad drivers, But for example, like the bad ones are like Michael Annett, who basically the only thing he's done is won a super speedway race in his like 10-plus-year career in the Xfinity series. And then of course there's the meme himself, Riley Herbst, who is a great example of a bad paid driver. And also include Brandon Jones. Now, is Brandon Jones a bad paid driver? I don't know. I mean, I know he had that breakout year last year, but other than that, he's just been average. He's basically been a slightly better Michael Annett, in my opinion. But I guess, if they're paying, that sponsor's paying the bills for this car, then of course JGR is gonna sign that. So it is what it is. We'll see if he, bounces back next season and maybe he has another year like 2020. But I don't know. I doubt it. As for the JGR operations for next year for Xfinity, I think it's probably going to be just 3 cars. I don't see. I mean, unless someone's bringing sponsorship over like Daniel Hemrick did with the 18 car, I doubt there's going to be 4 cars. Or at least 3 full-time like Xfinity champion contender drivers. I mean, Ty Gibbs is probably going to get that second ride. I mean, if there were open the 3rd full-time Xfinity ride, then maybe Ryan Preece. I mean, he drove JGR Xfinity for part-time, and he was able to win a couple races, so that's an option. But it all depends on sponsorship, of course. But I think it's going to be a 3-car operation for JGR Xfinity next season.
I'm wondering if they run like a 3rd car is kind of part-time, going for the Owners' Championship. I wonder who's going to race in that car, because Kyle Busch, he said he's done. So
I mean, there's
John Hunter Nemechek, maybe.
John Hunter Nemechek. And of course, Denny Hamlin always does the one-off race at Darlington every year.
Yeah, but they're going to need to find probably 5 to 10 races for drivers. But
they probably wouldn't make that 3rd car full-time. They probably just do it part-time like they did before.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a nice little conversation there about Joe Gibbs Racing. You guys let us know what you think about that. But we're gonna hop into we're gonna talk about the playoffs. We'll do Xfinity picks really quick first. We'll talk about those, and then we'll hop into the Cup Series and talk about the playoffs and all that. So, Matthew, who you got for your Xfinity pick this weekend at Kansas?
For my Xfinity pick this weekend, I'm going to go with Austin Cindric for this weekend. I know the first half, I feel like there's been a couple times during the playoffs I feel like he could have won one of these races, but things just hasn't gone their way for them. But I'm going to go with Austin Cindric for this race, and he's going to lock himself in the championship for this weekend.
I'm kind of torn here. I don't really... Everybody's kind of close together in the Xfinity series right now. There's 4 or 5 cars on a weekly basis that'll they can run well and get some wins. So I think I'm gonna go. Man, this is tough. I'll go Justin Allgaier. I'll pick him. He's been a little bit quiet lately, but I feel like he's always in contention on these 1.5-mile racetracks. So I'm gonna go with him as my Xfinity pick. Yeah, we're going to transition to the Cup Series, but we're going to talk about the playoffs very quick, and then we'll hop into our picks. So looking at the grid right here, Kyle Larson is obviously locked into the round of 4 with his win last week. Ryan Blaney is plus 17, Denny Hamlin plus 9, Kyle Busch plus 8, Elliott minus 8, Keselowski minus 15. Truex and Logano look like it might be in a must-win situation, but Matthew, I'm going to ask you this. Do you think anybody below that cut line right now could win one of these next 2 races and lock themselves in to the championship 4? And if so, who do you think? 1, 2, who do you think below that cut line could possibly go win?
Well, definitely below the cut line, it has to be Mark Truex Jr., especially when it comes to Martinsville. He hasn't been the best at these 550 horsepower tracks this year, but on the 750 horsepower tracks, he has been strong along with his teammate Denny Hamlin. So, Mark Truex is going to be someone to keep an eye on, especially at Martinsville. if he's still below the cut line at that time. But I mean, I feel like this whole round 8 could change real quick. I mean, Joey Logano, I mean, he could win, but he hasn't really shown a lot of. Him and Keselowski haven't shown a lot of speed, except for Texas. I mean, Texas, they came out of nowhere with speed. They might bring that same speed back with Kansas. And the same thing goes with Blaney. He has definitely surprised me as being someone that's in the championship 4 right now. So we'll see how Penske keeps it going with the next weekend. No, with this weekend at Kansas. Keep that momentum going. As for Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott, I mean, it's going to be close in my opinion between the two. I mean, it could go either way. Busch could be out, Elliott could be in, or Busch could be in and Elliott could be out. I think it's going to be really close. Because both of them are really good at these mile and a halves this year. Like Chase Elliott, even though he has a 1 mile and a half this year, he has shown a lot of speed. Like Las Vegas, he finished second. And Kyle Busch, of course, has looked strong in almost all the mile and a halves this year. He won at Kansas. He almost won Atlanta. He won at Kansas, and then he almost won Atlanta, and he was top 3 the whole time in Las Vegas. He was looking good at Texas too until they didn't know how to adjust a car right, but they were still looking good. So I think that's gonna be close between the two, but I don't know about Keselowski if he's gonna able to win to the championship 4. I just don't know about that. Same thing goes with Logano. I just don't know, but anything can happen. We'll see. My main thing the main driver I'm really gonna watch out for is Ryan Blaney to see if he keeps up the momentum, because he has definitely surprised me, and we'll see if he keeps it up, because there's been times he's been really good and there's times he's been a little inconsistent. So he's a big question mark for me if he's able to keep that momentum going. But yeah, it's I think a lot's going to change with these next 2 races.
So I think Ryan Blaney, I think he'll run well this week at Kansas. I'm a little worried about Martinsville for him because he has not been that good on the short tracks compared to his Penske teammates, Keselowski and Joey Logano. So I think Ryan Blaney, he might be able to get enough points this week to where he isn't as concerned going into Martinsville. So Ryan Blaney, I think he could possibly make the championship 4. I think Larson and Blaney will be in the championship 4. And I think it'll be between Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, and Chase Elliott as far as points are concerned. And then you also have to worry about Truex getting a win. So I think those final 2 spots are between those 4 drivers. But yeah, anything can happen in this round, especially if Martinsville is the cutoff race, which we're going to. I keep saying that, but I'm that excited about going to Martinsville. It's going to be really, really fun. But we'll hop into what?
That's the same. Ready for Martinsville as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned for our vlog about that. But hopping into our Cup picks for this week at Kansas, I will be going first, and my main pick has to be Kyle Larson once again, just because he's won 8 races this season. It's incredible how well he is running this season. He's already locked in the championship 4, so he's going to be aggressive, and he'll be out front probably most of the race. So I got to pick him as my first pick. My second pick, this is kind of where it gets a little bit tough. I'm thinking I'm going to pick Kyle Busch as my second pick because he won here in the spring, and he's been good at most of these 550 horsepower racetracks. So I'm going to go with him as my second pick. And my third pick, this is tough. I think I'm going to go... You know what? For the heck of it, I'm going to pick William Byron. Why not? He has... I think him and Chase Elliott have been back and forth between the second best Hendrick driver, and William Byron, I think he could shake things up here and get a win here in the playoffs. So I'll go with William Byron as my third pick. Why not? So Matthew, go ahead and tell me who you got for your Cup picks this week at Kansas.
Well, for my first pick, I'm going to go with someone that we haven't talked about and during our playoff discussion. That's Denny Hamlin. I mean, he's been strong when the playoffs started. I mean, he won at Las Vegas earlier in the second round, so I gotta go with Denny Hamlin here as my first pick. My second pick's gonna be Chase Elliott. He has also looked strong in these mile and a half as well. Um, I mean, we'll see. You know, it all depends like how his car is and stuff like that. Some tracks he looks really strong, and some of these mile and a half he's been okayish. So we'll see how he is at Kansas. And then my third pick, I'm going to go with Ryan Blaney because he's already opened the third round strong, and I think it's going to continue that momentum at Kansas. So I'm going to go with Ryan Blaney.
That's funny because your second and third pick are exactly the same from last week, so I didn't even have to change that. So thanks for doing that for me. But do you have any closing thoughts before we wrap the episode up?
Well, Kansas has always been one of the more entertaining mile and a halves. We'll just see how this goes. I mean, like I said, the 550 horsepower package has sucked this year. Texas is another example how ridiculous it is that you can't pass. I remember last year, 2020, it was between Logano and Harvick for the win, and even Bowman too. And Harvick had the faster car, but couldn't pass him because of the package. So we'll still have another frustrating finish like that again. This weekend, or even last weekend with all those restarts, they couldn't pass Larson with that package. So let's just hope this won't be too bad, but I doubt it.
I actually feel like Kansas might be worse than Texas, honestly.
Whoa,
Texas,
whoa, whoa,
at least
whoa.
there were some.
Did I just hear that correctly?
No. Compare this weekend's race compared to last weekend's race. Not in general. But I feel like this weekend's race at Kansas is going to be worse than last weekend's race at Texas. I'm going to say that because Texas, at least, I don't know. Like, yeah, you can't pass there, but I feel like Kansas, it's even harder to pass at Kansas. I mean, look at the spring race. Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch, once one of them got in front, the other couldn't pass the other the whole time. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'll hold on to that quote, and we'll come back to it at the end of the Kansas
fact that
race
you put Kansas
on Monday.
and Texas in the same statement after all the things I said about Texas last video. Come on, man. You can't disrespect Kansas like that. That's one of the better mile and a halves.
We'll have to see, but we'll come back to it. I'll remember that I said that, and we'll address that on Monday's video. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this episode. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Not a whole lot of news to talk about this week, but definitely a bunch of playoff talk heading into this these final few races here. 2 more races in the round of 8, and then it's a championship 4. So we hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll come out with our Kansas preview hopefully around Monday or Tuesday. So stay tuned to our social media for that. But until then, we will see you guys in our next video.